So today's session is going to continue on the theme of supporting the first energy center of the chakra system, the root chakra, because it helps us create a sense of stillness within the storm, where there is still what I can observe, fear and anxiety around the unknown. So today's session is going to be, again, techniques on how to rebalance a definitely unbalanced root chakra that we are most likely experiencing at this time. So from my last video, I then posted a little picture of the common symptoms of an under-energized, weak first energy center, as well as an over-energized, overactive root chakra. If you haven't read through those or seen that, the under-energized or weak root chakra, those symptoms would be things like definitely being ungrounded, so disconnect from your physical body, disconnect from this reality. There would be therefore a sense of just difficulty manifesting here in this world. You would be very disorganized because of that, not being grounded, not being able to do basic things like pay your bills or make sure that there's always food in the fridge. You'd be quite dependent on others actually to get these basic, your basic needs met, food on the table, roof over your head. And because all of that is occurring, depending on how long that's been occurring, whether that's been triggered now because of the COVID-19 and this lockdown or quarantine state that we find ourselves in, depression starts to set in because you can't manifest what you want for yourself, or just these basic needs. So there'll be a lot of fear with the under-energized state. With the over-energized state, there is an underlying fear of lack of, but it isn't a fear of not getting what you need. There's a fear of not having enough or it running out. So what that does is that actually creates anxiety, that you're going to just lose everything or not have your basic needs met, because there's a lack of trust. There's an immense fear of change with the over-energized state and very rigid boundaries. So there's a lot of aggression that you find, that anxiousness that I spoke about, and just incapable of that inner peace and trust that everything will be okay. There's one main life lesson, which is to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. And not only does that mean realizing that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you don't really need others to have your basic needs met, because once you realize that, once you know that you have the skills, the character, whatever it is that you need to bring in an income and have your basic needs met, those that you welcome in as your tribe, as your family, that safety net that they create is a bonus. It's not a need. Because the fear lies as well that if you lose that safety net, whether it's within a tribe, so like a non-biological family system, or your actual biological family, if you upset somebody or don't agree with their views and beliefs specifically around what's going on right now, that they may reject you, cut you off, and you might then lose that sense of safety and security, again, with your basic needs. So standing on your own 2 feet is not just recognizing that you can do this by yourself, independently. It's standing up for yourself. I'm in a situation where My father lives with me recently, and I welcomed my mother into my space during this time because I didn't want her to be alone. So the family dynamic has been very interesting. It's creating an opportunity for me to, and for them as well, to see who we really are. It's not just a little visit or a cup of tea or a dinner or whatever. You're really in each other's space, and you hear values, you hear belief systems. And you might be in the same situation as me, where you start reanalyzing your own belief systems and values. I mean, I've been doing this for years, and I feel very confident to stand up for myself and not always agree with my parents. And I had to do that and risk them rejecting me, and they didn't. Of course, they have that respect that I can have my own views and opinions of things, but the fact that I can have that dynamic and they're still around makes me feel safe and secure in the world. So some of you might really be challenged now with realizing, I don't agree with everything my tribe is standing for. And this is the opportunity in that quiet time, the space that's been created for us to start reflecting on what are some of those limiting beliefs or old beliefs that don't serve me anymore, and to stand up for yourself, stand on your own 2 feet, and talk about it in a gentle, from a heartfelt way with your family. So that's one of the tasks you actually need to do in order to strengthen the root chakra. So getting back to the over and under energized states, the techniques that we're going to be doing today are mostly just to bring the chakra back into balance, the root chakra back into balance. But I want you to recognize if you are in an over-energized or under-energized state at this time, because it does help later on with our breathing technique. So, yeah, just identify. Are you feeling very anxious, and are you fearing change? Are you resisting change? And maybe you don't have any inner peace. You're over-energized at this moment in time. If you're feeling disconnected, there's a sense of depression, poor boundaries, basically you don't have an opinion on anything, you just take everybody else's opinion as your own, and you're just very disorganized, you're in the under-energized state. So I want to support you in these sessions with bringing you back into balance, where you are grounded, where you're reconnected, so that we can raise your frequency. The intention is to raise the frequency of the entire collective consciousness as we move into a new way of being. So I'm going to state again, grounding is very, very important to create a very strong auric field, resistant to actual viruses and other people's stuff. So the grounding that we did in the previous session was standing up and sensing those roots growing out from our feet into the earth. And we took a percentage of how grounded you were then. We can do this as we're sitting as well. Okay? I feel like we need to be doing this sitting now. So as you're sitting, maybe you're on a chair, which might be a little bit easier for you to visualize. I want you to check your grounding. Check how far down your roots are growing down into the earth. And send those roots down as deep as they'll go. Connecting you to the earth energy, which is very nurturing and supporting, offering you natural protection. Send those roots all the way down, deep, deep, deep into the earth. To the center of the earth if you need to. And at the center of the earth, you find a beautiful pink quartz crystal. And beside it, you see a black tourmaline. And these crystals are there and very willing for you to absorb their energy. So I want you to take your roots and allow them to grow around these two crystals, completely envelop them, with your rootlets. Now allow that beautiful energy to come up your roots, the nurturing, supportive energy of that rose quartz crystal going up, up, up your roots, all the way up, as well as the energy, the protective energy, grounding energy of that black tourmaline going up, up, up your roots. Allow them to come into the soles of your feet, and allow that energy to travel up your legs, up those channels, and allow that energy to start accumulating at the base of your spine where your first energy center is found. And allow that energy just to continue coming up. You may feel it as a temperature change or a vibration. Just allow that chakra to fill up with that beautiful energetic energy. Allow that energy then to continue up through your abdomen, up, 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 centering in your heart. And allow that beautiful pink nurturing energy to start expanding out from your heart center into your auric field in front and at the back. Surround yourself in this beautiful healing energy. Now bring that protective and grounding energy of that black tourmaline up through your throat, through your face, and allow it now to come up through your crown chakra and cascade over you. See yourself enveloped in this beautiful, protective, grounding energy, almost like an envelope wrapping you. Know now that you are protected. Feel how grounded you are. Send a third root down from the base of your spine into the earth. And what we're going to be starting off with today, the first technique is going to be a mudra and mantra again, like I did in the first session. A mudra doesn't change, it's your index finger, the pointy finger, and your thumb tips touching. But instead of chanting the Sanskrit mantra for the root chakra, we're going to be toning. Toning is another form of connecting to that root chakra energy, creating resonance and opening up the energy center, because whether you're over-energized or under-energized, it's going to be blocked. When it's under-energized, you're not taking in enough energy, okay, to take action, to get your basic needs met. And if it's overactive, it takes in so much energy that it becomes blocked. And that energy can't actually move anywhere. It doesn't allow you to ground. So you're also ungrounded to a certain degree when your root chakra is taking in too much energy. So the toning and the mudra is going to allow us to reopen and balance and allow the energy to start flowing more appropriately and in balance. So when we tone, one of the sounds we can use are the vowel sounds. And for the root chakra, it is the sound of ah, UH, like you would say cup, ah. And again, we're going to do this 7 times, or at least a minute, whichever comes first. Everybody's breath capacity is different. So I'm going to use my tuning fork just to tune into the resonance. And I want you to be toning at your lowest tone, okay? Because each chakra has a different vibration and they increase as we move up. So your lowest tone, as you do this, you're going to keep focusing on the root chakra. The intention you're going to set is to reopen and rebalance as you are toning with me. So take a deep breath in. time. Just focus on the energy, the bottom starting to swirl. It may swirl clockwise or anti-clockwise, depending on whether you're at the moment taking in energy or releasing energy. Just as you tune into the root chakra, take note of the spin, take note of the color. And if you found that you were more the over-energized state, with our breathing technique, I'd like you to breathe in, instead of red, I'd like you to breathe in the color of green. So on each in-breath, a color of emerald green, color of my shirt maybe, if that resonates, or jade, just to calm that energy center down now, to create stillness in your life. You continue breathing in the color of green. If you find that you are in the under-energized state, you need to start taking more responsibility for your life, where you find that you're too dependent on others, where you feel you can't stand up for yourself or stand on your own 2 feet. I want you to breathe in the color of bright red. Keep breathing in. Whichever color you feel you need right now. And on each out breath, I want you to, whether you're breathing in green or red, I want you to breathe out any limitations with regards to emotions that you may be having right now. Any lower frequency emotions, so breathe out, for example, your fear. Breathe it out. Breathe in your color and release any fear that you may still be holding in that area, or in any area of your body. Breathe it out now. Breathe out any anxiety you may have. One more time. Now I'd like you to breathe in some positive, high vibrational words like trust. Breathe in the trust that everything will be okay. You can stand on your own 2 feet with the support that you ask for. Support that you deserve, because you deserve to be here, remember, and you deserve to have your basic needs met, the rights, the basic right as a soul, as spirit coming down in this physical body, to reclaim that right to be and to have. So breathe in the trust that that can happen. It will happen. Just surrender to that fear and anxiety by letting it go. Breathe in trust. Breathe in hope. Raise that frequency. Breathe in hope. Breathe in gratitude for having this opportunity to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. Gratitude to stand up for yourself. Gratitude to now develop trust in the world. Gratitude to realize that we are all one and interconnected. Gratitude that you have this opportunity then to create that beautiful stillness and harmony that you so deserve. Okay, beautiful. The physical exercises I'm going to do today now is what we call in Kundalini is the Sufi grind, where we gently breathe in on the way forward and out as you rotate in and out. Here we're going to be activating that energy even more with the Sufi grind. You can go one way, we're going to rotate the other way as well. So just see, similar to the pelvic tilt we did in the first session, but this is more grinding, churning, getting the Kundalini energy going. Kundalini energy starts at the root chakra. That's where it sits and waits dormant until we are ready. Work on allowing it to come alive within us and support our spiritual evolution. And again, as you do this in Kundalini, we'd be focusing on our third eye, but when we do this, I want you to focus, close your eyes and take your attention to your perineum and make the intention of getting this energy center oscillating and moving, releasing excess energy that may be built up there, opening it up to receiving supporting energy that's going to allow you to create a foundation in your life. Let's move the other way now. If you were going clockwise, go anti-clockwise now. As we do this, on your out breath, just to remain in that state and intention of also raising your frequency with positive words, positive action would be with our out breaths. Let's breathe out unconditional love. Firstly to ourselves, to our neighbors, to those in our suburb, cities, to those in our country. Let's just breathe out unconditional love. Just make that intention. This allows you to create a connection with more than what is within. Just allow the connection that all is one sacred truth of the root chakra. And then come to the center, take a deep breath in. Just suspend it for a while and release. Okay. So part of reconnecting is to connect with the earth energy and also with our body. So body hugging is really, really important. So extend your arms out and I want you to give yourself a real hug, unconditional love to self. Touch your body, use your fingers and grip and really just hug yourself. Stretch open and swap over. Just really hug yourself. Give yourself that love. Feel your body. Take your hands and start squeezing every part of your legs, your feet, your toes. Feel your body. Arms. Okay, so just reconnecting with the physical body. And now that we're in lockdown, a great time to ask for massages, okay, from family members or partners. And if you don't have, you're just going to have to massage and body hug for even longer. Okay, so that's very good. Connecting with the body and nature. Okay, if you have a garden, get out into the garden, get your hands into the soil. I said already before, exercising in the previous session is going to strengthen and allow you to support the root chakra. Mindfulness, becoming present, is going to be very important. And one way we can become mindful is to use our senses. So if you find you're going all over the place and you're becoming ungrounded, just use your senses to bring you back into the center point. So what are you smelling in that moment? Okay, a lot of us are doing lots of different kinds of cooking, I've noticed. So what are you smelling that brings you back? What are you hearing? Okay, all these beautiful birds that are now, I can hear talking to each other, brings you back. What are you feeling? Really feel what is around you. Okay, mindfulness practices, Google mindfulness practices. It's going to allow you to become more present and still within your body. Really supports that root chakra. And vice versa, if we can support the root chakra, it's going to allow you to become more present, more quickly and more continuously. Okay? Becomes a norm after a while. Alright, so when we do our grounding, when we feel that we need to, when we feel that we're being scattered, another Archangel Gabriel also works with, well, I said it last time, I think. He works with us. But there's also Sandalfron. He also really supports us staying connected to the earth energy. So if you find you keep popping out and you're not grounded, just call upon him to help you with that. So my feeling is that what we are perceiving really needs the most work when dealing with the root chakra. So yes, we can do the pelvic tilts like I showed you last time. We can stand in the warrior pose. There are many different poses that we can use, but I would be very happy with a mudra and mantra to focus. Color breathing, very potent. The sound, the toning or chanting, very potent. And the Sufi grind for me feels really, really strong. So on a physical level, my feeling is that's okay to just tune in and offer support in that level. But what's going on in your consciousness about what's going on, for me, we need to really look at. So I would like to suggest that we consciously work on looking at the life lessons that I spoke about, standing on our own 2 feet, standing up for ourselves, looking at accepting the sacred truth that we are all one, and if we don't, work on that. And then to look at the task of the root chakra, which is to surrender. So to surrender what we are most afraid of. And everybody will be afraid of something different to a different degree. Once you can surrender and agree and admit that yes, I am in fear, there's a less of a tightening and there's a more of a release so that it can release and move and let go. Because when we live in fear, we cannot move up to the next phase in our spiritual journey where we tap into the sacral chakra, the second energy center, where we start tapping into the program and the instructions on how to enjoy life, how to experience life, how to look at what desires that we have and to really express that to ourselves firstly and to others, to our partners. Being in lockdown and having the partners that we have in our life also brings up a whole lot of questioning, why is this person in my life? Because you're spending 24 hours and 7 days a week with each other. So we want to release the fear. We want to surrender to it, acknowledge it, and let it go so that it doesn't control us, so that we can start looking at bringing more joy into our lives. And that would be then the next session that I would be taping, all around the sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra is also very much around the energy we can use is for creativity. We're going to need some serious problem-solving skills and creativity in the next phase of this period that we find ourselves in. We may need to completely look at differently how we're going to be of service, or how we're going to make money, how we're going to create financial stability in a different way. So we want to tap into the second energy center. Very important. So I would like you to, if you feel comfortable to do this, is to put in the comments what you are most afraid of, or private message me. Once you get it out there, once you've really thought about what that is for you, you can let it go and move on, move forward. Okay. So I feel that that's all I really want to say today, and I feel I do need to make these a little bit shorter. I didn't realize the last one was so long. Okay, never mind. It looks like this one's also the same length of time as the first one. So yes, the way the consciousness, what we're thinking about. Today, we need to really look at changing the perception we have on ourselves, how we see ourselves in the situation, so that we can raise our frequency. I did a beautiful session with somebody today where we looked at, because they weren't bringing in financially, like most of us are struggling with right now, is that he was feeling very useless, and there was a sense of undervaluing what he can actually do in this time. So by changing his perception of himself, we worked on how he does value himself, and he can stand on his own 2 feet. He's done it in the past, so he can do it again. To accept that change is good, and that he easily sees the opportunities with change, that's going to create a sense of calm and support the root chakra. So yes, look at what fears come up and what could be knocking you into an over-energized or under-energized state still at this stage, so that we can move on to working on the sacral chakra next time. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Satnam.